We back. StryfeSight on UGK, baby. UGK. I have figured out my formula. Presently, we're going to go west. We're going to go east. We're going to go south. And then we're going to go Midwest. And then after that, that is primarily going to be hip hop. After I make the rotation, I will do one rock band. Right? That is going to be my formula, and I'm going to be doing this for a while. This is really entertaining for me, and it just feels productive and fun. So I'm just going to keep going, you know? And with that said, we are going to get into UGK. I chose UGK because UGK is, how can I put this? They are essentially the forefathers for Southern hip hop. They're one of the earliest Southern rap groups, you know, along with them and Ghetto Boys. But like, I don't even know if Ghetto Boys are from the South. Where are Ghetto Boys from? I think they're from Texas as well. Yep, they're from Texas. Before 1986. So Ghetto Boys, I think, is the only other group that may predate UGK. But I wanted to do UGK just because I feel like they are, for me, I'm a Midwest millennial. The only thing I really knew UGK was from, like Woodwheel and the International Players Anthem, of course, So I didn't even know who was in UGK or anything like that. And let's type that in, right? Yeah, I thought it was just these two, and I was right about that. After listening to all their albums, I didn't know if they had any other producers or people. But UGK is a duo, a dynamic duo of Pimp C and Bun B. And they have 6 studio albums that I listened to all the way through and made notes for, from the beginning with their first album all the way to the end to their last album, spanning from 1991 to, I believe, when did UGK, 2009? UGK for Life came out 2009. So this is effectively about 20 years, a 20-year span of music, and it was honestly beautiful. It was beautiful and dope. I do have a couple negative points, but like it's not negative. It's just like a couple strange points to point out. But other than that, like this was a super vibe. Now let's go ahead and hop into it. Now their first album is we're gonna call a pausable title, Too Hard to Swallow. Too Hard to Swallow. I understand what they're going for, living in Texas, the content that they speak is, is tough to consume. So I understand what they're going for, but today's days, that's possible. That's pretty possible, bro. But anyway, Too Hard to Swallow was it was dope. Their first studio album. It started with a song called Something Good, with the sample, tell me something good. It uses that sample, and like it's just dope. It's just dope, it is just dope. Yeah, I noticed that they had some really good they chose some good samples in this album. They had a song called Crampin' My Style. It was a dope song, and it used the same sample that Big Papa uses. I love it when you call me Big Papa, which is, I believe, is the Isley Brothers, right? It is the Isley Brothers, but yeah. Now, let's see what else we got. The first thing I think I noticed is on the first song, Something Good, Sus Bars again. Pimp C he's a wild guy. He was a wild guy. And he says, Pimp C, bitch. So what the fuck is up? Step wrong, nigga, and I'll take your fucking nuts. I was like, what? I don't like, because there are other words to rhyme here. Like, there's sluts. He's a pimp, right? Sluts, work, guts. Take your guts, maybe. I don't know. That, it's on a song called Cocaine. cocaine in the back of a ride. Am I about to get hiccups? I just felt one. I hope not. Anyway, they have a concept song called "Feels Like I'm the One Doing Dope," right? This one right here, I would like to pull up the lyrics if possible. Let me pull up the lyrics on this because this was a little wild for me. I believe the concept of the song is about a dream where Pimp C is a user and seller of dope where fucked up shit happens. And when I say fucked up shit, I mean that he says he doesn't say, he is rapping about he smashes a chick that he has around that was stealing coke, and I believe he shoots her. I believe, where is this at? I wanna read it. I really do want to read it. All right. Let's see. I checked myself to be in a. I'm gonna hurt myself if I don't get shit straight. To the top of shit. Oh, if they just give me more dope. I think I'm crazy now at the end of my rope. My mama comes to see me every motherfucking day. As much as I want to, I don't have nothing to say. I want to say I love her with all my damn heart, but hustling is a fiend, and yo, it's tearing her apart. I woke up that night with the same taste in my mouth. My mind just went berserk. I gotta break the fuck out. I killed the bitch that's sitting in the front booth. I broke the guard's neck and put on his fucking suit. Took the keys. So he's breaking away from the hospital, right? Gotcha. Took the keys and got to the doorway in about 2 seconds. It's a smooth getaway. Got to the truck. I'm gone scot-free. What the fuck? A siren motherfuckers after me. If they take me, they gonna have to take me dead. Before I go, I'll put a bullet in my head. I try to hold them back, but my teardrops coming down. I let my foot off the gas and put my head on the ground. I put the gun to my temple and then went click. I heard a ringing sound and woke up to my heart tick. I was crying. My girl told me, Chad, it's just a dream, right? That's how it ends, right? And in the verse before, I believe he is, in the dream, he is suspicious of the chick he's living with while he's selling dope, and he shoots her while fucking her and finishes on her dead body. I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm like, bro, the creativity, it's really gross, right? But the creativity to like go there is like, I'm just like, what the fuck, bro? Like my brain is like, like, and it was all a dream. I'm like, of course, like I'm very happy that it was all a dream. But man, is that crazy. It feels kind of crazy to have listened to. All right. Feels like I'm the one that's I'm the one on dope is what that is. Next is I guess this might be the only like quote unquote negative point, or it is just a suspicious point. UGK has the most sus song I've ever heard in my life, and I don't understand what the idea was behind this. And I'm trying to find ways to defend it, and I really just can't. The song is called I'm So Bad. So usually if you see a title like this, I'm So Bad could relate. I'm So Bad could relate to I'm so bad I can rhyme a bunch of things. I'm so bad I beat like 10 people up, or I'm so bad I got bad bitches, like some shit like that is what you would normally think. But this song starts with Pimp C arguing with a female and asking, well, he tells her to, give me, you should give me some head. And then she's like, nah, nigga, I ain't giving head. You give me head, right? Like, and he's like, nah, I ain't doing that. And then he says, you know what? Fuck that. I'm so bad, I can suck my own. And I was like, what? Like, no. And then that turns out to just be the chorus. So you just hear, I'm so bad, I can suck my own. I'm so bad. And I'm just like, what? It was like the most shocking song I've ever truly heard. And this is the 90s, the early 90s. So this is not like this is like a LGBT pro song essentially. Like this is just I think this is just a bad reference. And I would, unfortunately, Pimp C is not with us, but I would love to absolutely hear what the hell he says about, or what he would have said about this song and making this song, because this is nuts. And it gets worse at the end of it, because at the end of it, he just says that everyone that is around, like the maybe production team and other people that's hanging out with him, he just says that they're so bad that they can suck their own dick too. So I was like, you know, and I fuck with Bun. Bun B is my favorite rapper from Texas, and he has been before I did this. And like he's like Bun be so bad he can. I'm just like, bro, what is this song, bro? It honestly, it sounds insane. But yeah, this is kind of the only super strange part about UGK as a whole. But other than that, moving on. If you start listening to UGK, you're gonna notice some slang. You're gonna notice a lot of slang that you may not know. Skeeter, I believe Skeeter is penis, Jimmy is penis, Trill, true, and real combined. That's a cool one. That one's more popular, but just the way that they say things is really dope. Now the content in this album was selling drugs, gun threats, sex, hustling, stealing other guys' women, right? The hits are Pocket Full of Stones, got a pocket full of stones. Use Me Up, that has the sample, until you use me up, from Bill Withers. It's got that sample, but it's also a dope song too. And Tell Me Something Good, you know. The only song I knew was Pocket Full of Stones before I listened. Yeah. Also, being a player and a pimp is a part of the content as well. The production was smooth, chill vibes. You could really feel like the writing and listening aspect on this project. I feel like Pimp C is the producer for the majority of UGK as a whole. And Pimp C is a producer, and it just feels like he made this with riding in the car and listening to it in mind. And it's pretty dope. I like that. The samples, you know, from Cramping My Style, samples from with the Between the Sheets, Isley Brothers, the Use Me Up, and the Something Good, like all of that stuff is fantastic options. Now the rhymes and flow, to be honest, it was simple rhymes for the most part, in rhymes, simple schemes and patterns as well. I believe the draw that they have is like storytelling. They are able to vividly tell stories, and you know, they're not being very complicated with their rhymes. So like the stories are pretty simple to tell, and the way that they say things with the southern Texas slang is just super fire. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't fuck with this song. We gonna have to go. I'm going back with some old stuff. I can't do this. I can't do it. We're gonna change the song. We're gonna get right back to it. Yep. Yep. Here you go. Wrong. Bro. Okay. Small intermission so I can. There we go. Let's just throw this on, please. Yeesh. Yeah, I don't know what that was, but it was upsetting me. But yeah, the rhyming was not super complex, but the storytelling is super engaging, and I can tell that was the draw, in my opinion. Now, bar of the album for me was, I believe it's Pimp C. It says, I don't figure there is worth getting hurt just because your girl want to give me that skirt. Now, Pimp C is in essence speaking as a pimp, and this happens a lot in, like, I want to say famous people and rappers and athletes and all of that. Seems to happen a lot where a woman will, I guess, break their relationship for the wealthier, richer, more notoriety person, and the guy for some reason wants to try to get in the way of that and try and, like, I don't know, fight or disrupt the wealthier rich person. And most of those wealthier rich people have either security or guns or weapons on them. And so honestly, this bar is very accurate. It is not, it's not worth, I don't figure it's worth getting hurt just because your girl want to give me that skirt, And it's usually people that end up carrying weapons that, that some of the women flock to in these types of situations, causing a confrontation where the weapon holder constantly has to warn the scorned male that they'll die or get hurt. So, like, let her go, My favorite song was Cramping My Style. It was a dope joint with a female rapper named Infinity, speaking on how they cramp each other's style. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. I enjoyed it. But yeah, that was too hard to swallow. It was cool. Next, we moving on to Super Tight. I did not say when. So yeah, that was 91. Super Tight came out in 94. Second album. Let's see. It starts with a joint called Return of the Trill. I can immediately tell a shift in better production off the top of this album. Off the top of this album. Now, concept song, Feds in Town. There's a song called Feds in Town on here, and it's an interesting point of view of like the head drug dealer switching strategies for his sellers because the feds are in town and they're on to some of his sellers in drugs and prostitution. I was like, oh shit, this is like drug boss type shit. I move this person over there. We go from wearing wealthy stuff to wearing poor shit. No, don't get your nails done. Like, those are several things that are mentioned in the song. And I was just like, it's an interesting angle. Also, this album is this is the earliest I've ever heard the word crunk. Now, crunk, as a Midwest millennial, I have noted as a Lil Jon Atlanta kind of thing. Maybe even Memphis, because I feel like I've heard 3 6 say it as well. But, like, not Texas. But this is 1994. So right now, this is the earliest I've ever heard of that. Like, and the bar is, that shit is funky like a black skunk, I believe, speaking about weed. And then after that, fuck all this waiting, man, it's time to get this motherfucker back crunk. And I was like, crunk? Crunk? I was like, man, they wilding out. I was like, they are wilding out. I was like, I did not expect to hear crunk in 1994. But anyway, concept song, front, back, side to side. This is a legendary modified car culture song in reference to, hydraulics and big rims and, and other modifications to whips. Super dope song. T.I. did a remake of it. I heard on King, and that's why I knew of the song. So I didn't know that this was possibly the original of it. Now, next concept song is Stone Junkie, which is an entire song about the point of view of being a stoned junkie. And I was like, putting yourself in the shoes of a junkie when you're the people that are selling drugs or, allegedly selling drugs or rapping about selling drugs is interesting. I was like, huh. Also, I believe there's a song at the end called 316s. It's pretty dope. But it's like a fusion song, in my opinion. It sounded like a West Coast beat with Texas rapping. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Another concept song on this album is Protect and Serve. It's basically a full anti-police song, you know, full anti-police song. And also, I learned that 99 is in reference to the cops. I don't know if that's Texas slang or what that comes from, but this is the first time I heard it. 1994, 99. So now I'm gonna start calling the cops 99. You gotta watch out for 99, bro. They over there, you know? And then another concept song we got is I Left It Wet For You, which is talking about smashing another dude's chick in secret or whatever. And then I guess either telling them or like making fun, like saying I left her vagina wet for you. I was like, okay, that's I was like, that's interesting. That was interesting. You know, the content in this album was selling drugs, drug boss point of view, drug use, sex, women, hoes, cars, car mods, police brutality, gun bars, you know, ops, haters, and being a pimp, of course. You know, the production is this album feels like what I recognize as the Texas sound, you know, a heavy bass, steady, not really fast paced, an overall chill feel, and, you know, just dope beats all throughout this project. My favorite beat ends up being front, back, side to side, because honestly, it's too classic. It's too classic, too nostalgic for me, since I love the T.I. version from King. When I was in high school, King was my favorite album for a long time. It might still be my favorite album. I'm not exactly certain, but it had a song on it called Front, Back, Side to Side. And I didn't know that it was sampling from this. I was like, oh, that's fire. So yeah, it's too classic for me. Favorite song ends up being Front, Back, Side to Side again, because once again, it's too classic. And I also do appreciate all of the car mod stuff. I'm in the cars, I'm not mega, I'm like the highest level of car person, but like I'm somewhere in the middle. I know about a lot of the modifications. I've looked up how much some of the stuff costs. I've been to some car shows, you know, I've been to some ghetto car meets, you know, so I'm somewhat in the cars too. So I appreciate that as well, from back side to side. The rhymes and flow. Bun B is standing out lyrically with multi-syllabic rhyming and different pacing with his bars, while Pimp C is staying simple, direct, and very cool with his slang. The difference is notable, but it's a great dynamic. You know, feels like Pimp C is real simple, but like he just says stuff super cool. So like I don't know. It's noticeable to me because I'm a fan of lyricism and stuff. So the more complex you get, the more my brain is like, ooh, like, you know, I point that stuff out. But I can also appreciate somebody that's cool and chill like Pimp C as well. But I was just specifically stating that I noticed it. Now, bar of the album for me is a crooked cop might get shot for the fuck of it. So it's not very hard or very complex bar, but Bun expresses in 94 how the stresses in Texas could make a black man feel like. So, and that bar is on Protect and Serve. The hits on this album, Front, Back, Side to Side, and they had Pocket Full of Styles Part 2. Whatever, it was pretty cool in this. Now, we get into Riding Dirty. Now, one thing I must say is that UGK I said that they are forefathers of Southern hip hop, and I meant that. Now, Riding Dirty, most people will recognize as a hit from Chamillionaire or maybe Weird Al Yankovic if you are from the caucus side of things. But Riding Dirty is an album. It's an album from UGK. Like, it looks like 96, maybe almost 15 years before that song came out. And this album is actually pretty dope. It starts with a vocal intro, right? And this was made 96, a vocal intro. And then one day, a beautiful Isley Brothers, Ain't I Been Good to You? What is it? The Ain't I Been Good to You sample. It's a smooth joint about being here and then passing, you know? One day you're here, baby, and then you're gone. That joint, I don't know if you know it, but it is it's honestly one of the realest, one of the trillest songs that they have as a like in their totality of songs. It's just a beautiful song. This very, very real and authentic. But yeah, that was it was a really cool way to start the album. Now there is a legendary verse. I am going to attempt to read this verse. It is going to be tough. I already know it. Can I get the lyrics, please? Murder lyrics, please. All right. So I call this a legendary verse. Pimp C does do his thing on this, but Bun B steals it for me. And I'm pretty sure there are other people that have maybe have spoken about this verse. This is probably Bun B's best verse in all of maybe. It's so lyrically potent. So I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna do as well as him. Obviously, I can't play the music because of copyright reasons. But I'm a fan. So here we go. The song is just called Murder, and I'm gonna guess it's about just murdering the track, right? So Bun starts, "Well, it's Bun B, bitch, and I'm the king of moving chickens, not them finger licking, sticking niggas that be tricking. You need a swift kicking, yeah. You need a swift kicking. Your ass is right for the picking. Now my pocket's sticking. I be kicking, nickel slicking. You slick when I be clicking." Come on, bro! This guy is going off. He's going off, bro. Like I'm not even like, I don't like to gas shit. I'll keep it a buck. I don't. Like I don't. I think a lot of stuff is overrated. Like this is not. I just started all of that, and I'm not even halfway through the damn verse, right? Let's go back. I be kicking, nickel slicking, you sick when I be clicking. Now take a look at the bigger nigga, malt liquor swigger. Ooh, malt liquor swigger. Ooh, player hater, ditch digger. Figure my hair trigger got a hot one in your liver. You shiver, shake and quiver. I'm frivolous, so if a nigga get wetter than a river. What the fuck? I'm frivolous if a nigga get wetter than a river. For what it's worth, it's the birth of some niggas doing dirt. Fuck her first, take off her skirt. Now make the pussy hurt. It's the master. Hit the swisher faster than you ever feel. Then you fever blister bastard. Fuck your sister faster. 50 elbows for sale, yo. Brother better have my mail hoe before I catch a murder case, go to jail. Oh hell no. Time to bail, hit the trail. So come on, bro. I'm not even doing it justice because he went through this fast. I'm reading this shit and I'm reading it slow. He was smooth and in rhythm and in pace with this shit. I'm just like reading this shit. I know it's not going as hard as like, I feel the lyrics and the bars, but like I know I'm not hitting the cadence the way he hits the cadence. Just know that this song Murder has one of the best hip hop verses ever. Like period, lyrically. I'm gonna say it. Fuck it. I stand on that. I stand up for Bun. Midwest guy standing up for the South. I stand on that. This shit is fire. All right, let's move on because this got me a little too hype. And I'm fucking up the verse, so it's making me upset too. Anyway, now concept song. Fuck My Car is about women. It's a song that are women that are more attracted to items, more items than the people in them, and specifically cars. In this aspect, I thought it was interesting. I was like, I understand. Like, you see the car, you're like, damn, that car is fire. So you focus more on the car than the person in it. I super understand that. I look at people's cars and care about their car way more than them most of the time. So I'm not a whore or a slut for them. But if I see, a fire old school slab, if I see a fire slab or some sort of old school Chevy, Dodge, Caddy, something like that, I'm like, damn. And I don't care about the dude, chick in it. I don't even really look at them. I look at the vehicle, then look at the rims, then look at, try and look at the trim or the body style of it to see if it's got a different body style than what I recognize. So I understand that. But in this context, I can relate. Next is another concept song called High Life. High Life is more of a poverty life reflection song, which was interesting. I did not expect to hear that. The hits on this album are Diamonds and Wood, Murder, the song I brought up earlier, The High Life, I just brought up the concept song, and One Day. One day you're here, baby, and then you're gone. Now, content is smoking, fame, cars, hustling, gun threats, sex, haters, the black struggle, and jewelry. It's all content in this. Production, still that heavy Texas feel. Of course, this felt a bit more jazzy. More bass being played in some songs. You know, they just had in some songs just had more of a jazzier feel and a slower pace than the last album as well. Excuse me. My favorite beat is That's Why I Carry. It's basically a song about why they carry the gun, because it's dangerous out here. You know, it was just smooth and dope, so I mess with that. My favorite song ends up being, it's a tie between One Day and Murder. One Day is way too classic and way too real. I have a story in my notes. It says I have a screenshot story to go through for one day. So we will go through my screenshots so we can see this, hopefully. Yep, here it is. So the first verse in One Day is by Mr. 32. And this guy got shot point blank with a shotgun outside of gas station near his hood in Hiram Clark. R.I.P. Yes, indeed. That is intense. And it is in relation to the song. One day you're here, one day you're gone. That is super duper sad. Yeah, rest in peace to Mr. 32. He is the first, I believe he is the first person that opens the verse before Pimp and Bun get a verse. So there is that. And also Murder, both verses were super dope. Pimp C, both verses were super dope. As a lyricism fan, this could really be my favorite. Pimp and Bun, they both murder this track for lack of a word, or to not lack, for gain of using the same word as the title of the song. But the bar of the album for me ends up being, my brother been in the pen for damn near 10, but now it look like when he come out, man, I'm going in. So shit, I walk around with my mind blown in my own fucking zone, cause one day you're here and the next day you're gone. One day, this is just real life situations. In this situation, I believe Bun is expressing that, like, he's been doing illegal shit while his brother's been in jail. And so he might be going in jail by the time that his brother gets out of jail, you know, especially like if you're living illegally or you're living in poverty in the 90s, like the picture it paints is you living in the 90s and it's tough to live and you've been doing illegal shit to get by. You know, you've been doing illegal shit to get out of the trap that you are in, or to get out of the situation into a better one. And, you know, so it, it just hits really hard for me. And I can't necessarily fully relate, but like I know other people can super relate to that. And I have felt like that sometimes. Let me just try to do some illegal shit to make some money, you know, to get out of my situation. I have felt that. I have not done illegal things to get out of my situation, but the thought has crossed my mind for sure. Now the rhymes and flow, Bun B is a technical wizard, you know, very lyrical and intricate with the patterns and pacing and overall flow. Hearing his album to album improvement has been fun. My appreciation for Pimp C has grown a lot in this album, Riding Dirty, because it seems to me he stepped up his complexity a bit, more two and three syllable rhyming and pace switches. He has always had a dope flow with intriguing slang, but the added complexity makes me feel like his verses. I mean, it makes me like his verses a bit more compared to the first and second album, you know? Also, I have to shout out their word bending. There are a decent amount of words they bend because they can. You know, this is a rapper thing that happens all the time, or maybe an artist thing. There are probably like artists outside of hip hop that do this as well, right? But I have to shout it out, and maybe it's just the Texas. They rhyme, so I'm gonna say these two words: and marijuana, California, drama, harm ya. Those rhymed. I believe it was marijuana, California, drama, harm ya. Like, I think it was said like that. But like, just the fact that like you thought to rhyme marijuana in California, like, you know, like, I guess it makes sense because, you know, they smoke weed out there, but like getting them to rhyme it's impressive. And they just do that throughout the album. So like that, those are just only a few of the many examples that they end up using. So next we have Dirty Money. Dirty Money starts with Let Me See It. This album came out in 2001. Let Me See It is a song to the ladies, you know, ends with Pimp C letting us know that this is not hip hop that we're listening to, it's country rap tunes. And I'm gonna respect that. These country rap tunes are fire. Now, slang update. If you keep listening, you will keep listening throughout UGK's throughout their albums, you'll notice the word slab being said. Slab apparently was an acronym for slow, loud, and banging. I already knew what slab was because I've heard it in other songs, and they always said it in reference to a vehicle. So I figured it was an old school, you know, and it basically is like, I didn't know it was slow, loud, and banging as like a acronym, but it's basically like, you know, luxurious, modified, older American cars and stuff. You'll also hear blades. Blades are in reference to rims, like the rims that look sharp, you know, the rims, multi-spokes and stuff like that. And chopping, you might hear chopping. There's a song called Chopping Blades in this album, and it is about how the rims look while they're spinning, you know, like whether you have spinning rims, you know, or whether you have spinning rims or whether you just have like some blades and you're rolling. So yeah. Speaking of concept song, Chopping Blades. Chopping Blades is a dope song about multi-spoked cars with multi-spoked rims, you know, rolling and stuff. It's a dope song. I mess with it. Another concept song, Ain't That a Bitch? This is a song about falling in love with a hoe, or, you know, a woman that was promiscuous, getting her pregnant, marrying her, getting divorced, and put on child support, and regretting what you did when you knew that she was already like a whore. So I was just like, damn, this is a messed up song. Now, concept song, another one is Gold Grill featuring 8Ball and MJG. Now, grill culture is heavy in the South. And 2001 was prime grills being popular time. I remember this because there were several grill songs that came out when I was like 10, 11. Like, there was a bunch of grill songs that was coming out, and yeah, this is another one. You know, grill culture, stuff like that. Now, another concept song, Don't Say Shit, is about people being in love with money, cars, and jewelry, and having a nice looking lady, but they aren't trill, which is more important, right? Like, your character is more important than your items, is what this song is simply saying. And like, I believe Pimp C is basically stating that he don't want to hear nobody like speak to him that like have money, cars, jewelry, and, you know, having nice things more important than their character in the song. So it was pretty dope. Another concept song, Dirty Money, from the album title to the song title, is a song noting the consequences of putting money above all. Also, how necessary that it is and how dirty that is. You know, this is pretty deep, actually. Now, another concept song, Like a Pimp, is literally a song about being a pimp. You know, there is a famous song called Like a Pimp, but this is not that song. That song, I believe, is David Banner, Like a Pimp and Lil Flip. And that song, they actually use this song from Riding Dirty as he says, girls get down on the float. That is actually taken from a song called Like a Pip from this album right here. That is Juicy J and DJ Paul on it. He says, girls get down on the flow. On the flow. He says it twice. So that's the sample from the song. I was like, oh shit, that's dope. Also, there is another reference. So there's a, what is this? Still smoking out, pouring up, keep these bitches hoeing up. That is from Money, Hoes, and Power. Is the origin song. So what is the song that uses that? I forgot. Smoking out, pouring out, pouring up. Oh, okay. So I think this is okay. It's just called pouring up. So they made a song with Mike Jones called "Pulling Up." That's the song I'm thinking of, which the original sample came from this song called "Money, Hoes, and Power." Money, Hoes, and Power featuring Jermaine Dupri rapping. You know, it was actually pretty dope. Now the hits in this one are "Wood Wheel," which has been my favorite UGK song forever. "Chopping Blades" and "Take It Off." The content in this is, you know, being a pimp, sex, prostitution, cars, money, drug use, drug selling, smoking, rims or blades, gun threats, and fame. Production, similar. Texas heavy, chill riding vibes. This one had a little faster pace, but still smooth and quite the vibe, you know. My favorite beat is "Wood Wheel." It's just a smooth, fire ass bass, and it's a dope ass beat, bro. Like, I've freestyled to it before. It is a magnificent song or beat. And also "Wood Wheel," I'm biased, is my favorite song as well. My favorite beat and favorite song. I'm biased because this has been my favorite UGK song for a while, and it just always makes me, when I put that shit on in the car, doom 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 doom. Like, when it just make me feel it. I think it makes me feel as close to how I can feel as like being in the South. I've barely been in the South. I've only been down there for tournaments, for Tekken. And my mom used to live down there for a little bit, and I visited a couple times, but I never really got to experience Southern culture. So I experienced the Southern culture through their music, you know, and I respect it and pay attention to it. Now, the bar of the album for me ends up being, say, look here, man, I'm a rapper. Hold on. Let me take that back. I make rap music. That don't mean all a nigga do is rap, but that don't matter. I've been labeled, stigmatized, stereotyped. There's an entertainment disease worse than cancer, a venereal type. This is just speaking on something. I found obvious that happens to a lot of people in a profession. You know, a person is usually never just the one label, despite it being how they make money, or even if it's what they do most. So, like, you know, the "I'm a rapper, but that's all I am" like thing, like that's whack. Like, and that's for everything, right? The "shut up and dribble" thing. You're just a politician. Don't talk about anything that isn't politics. You're just a basketball player. Don't talk about anything about. That's dumb. Like, humans are not like that. We're way too multifaceted. So it makes no sense. But Bun is speaking about how people, I don't know, would call them just rappers, and they were so much more than that. You know, so much more than that. So it's just relative and annoying that it happens. I get called a gamer, like that's all I am. No, I'm a gamer. I'm a brother. I'm a son. I'm a boyfriend. You know, I'm a hooper. I'm an exercise guy. I'm a motivator. I'm a coach. You know, like, but you can't just call me one, because one would just be inaccurate, and I feel Bun on that. Now, rhymes and flow, more of the same. Smooth riding music. Bun B still complex, and you have to pay attention to what he says at times, or you'll just miss out on some of the bars. Pimp still feels like one of the coolest artists out there. His flow and the way that he says things is just simply dope, whether it's complex or not. It was fun hearing like the Southern features throughout this album. You know, 8 Ball, MJG on Gold Grill, and 3-6 Like a Pimp, amongst others. And I believe this ended up being my favorite album so far. So, yeah. Next, we go to the mega album, Underground Kings. So in between this is a small bit about their life. And I don't really want to get into this, but I'm bringing it up because it's relevant to the album. Pimp C got arrested, I believe, for, it says, if you do your Googles, it says Pimp C got arrested for pulling out a gun in a mall. I don't believe he fired it, but I believe he ended up getting 4 years for that. So this album probably came out later than what they wanted. The Dirty Money came out 2001. This came out in 2007. So at their pace, they seemed like they were releasing albums like from 3 to 5 years. So this probably would have came out in 2004 or 2005. But the Pimp being arrested or incarcerated most likely delayed that. But what ended up happening is that this album ended up getting 29 songs or 28 songs, bro. Like, it got 28 songs because of that, which is dope, but a little exhausting if you're listening for research. But anyway, Underground Kings, it starts with Switches and Doja. Pimp C is returned from a bit, and he speaks a little bit about the changes that he saw, you know, from when he was gone to the, I guess, 2007, right? There's a concept song. It's called Chrome Plated Woman. This song is about cars, you know, speaking as if they're alive. And he's speaking about their lifespan. Like, you know, I got this car from here. It was in this car show. I rode it from here to here, like stuff like that. Whatever. It was actually pretty cool. I was like, oh, this is a super dope song. I gave it a few listens. Now, another concept song we got is Take the Hood Back. The song about the rise of the youth for crimes and the rise of liars and snitches being cool in the hood, you know. So they don't, like, UGK, they don't support that, you know. So take the hood back. So I respect that. Concept song, Quit Hating on the South. This is a smooth song about Bun and Pimp noticing people from the East and West hating and saying negative stuff about the South in the middle of the Southern success. This is 2007, right? So the South was blowing up for like what, the late 90s to what, Outkast to like, I want to say maybe the mid 2010s. They were just on fucking fire, bro. Like, and that's all. Like the East had their time in the beginning, the West had their time after that, and at that point in time, it was time for the South. They had something to say, you know. So, and also this is the earliest I've heard anti-internet shit talk mentions. Like I think Pimp C says something about people being, you know, scared to say shit in real life, hiding behind their emails, and I was like, oh shit. They talking shit online through emails. I was like, 2007 when they talk shit on AOL. I was like, god damn. That was silly to me. They talking shit on Black Planet, bro. But anyway, next concept song is Heaven. Heaven is a post-life curiosity song for real G's and drug dealers, you know. Obviously, after you do so many things where you affect people negatively, essentially, like sell drugs, and, you know, sell drugs, rob, or possibly shoot or steal women. Obviously, those people go through a reflection period, and Heaven is a song for those kind of people. So I understand it. And there are multiple songs from these types of people. There were songs like this in Biggie's album. There were songs like this in Pac's albums as well. So it's like post-life curiosities, wondering about, did I do too many bad things to make it to heaven? If, you know, if heaven is real, you know, if you're a believer, then they probably did do too many bad things. But, you know, the curiosities are just something that you go through. So I understand. Now, concept song, How Long Can It Last? This is a heartfelt song about the hustle and not knowing how long it's gonna last before you get shot or before, you know, get shot and die, or before you get arrested. It's you know, pretty somber. Now going back to Dirty Money, the album before this, Dirty Money had Money, Cars, and Hoes with Jermaine Dupri. This album has Stop and Go with Jazzy Faye, ladies and gentlemen. So, and maybe this is Pimp C's influence, you know, because he's like a rap producer, you know, he raps and produces and stuff. So, but yeah. Just thought it was interesting. He's got two different producers, major producers. He's got two different major producers on tracks rapping. So now, next concept song is Cocaine, the song about the history and the effects and use of it, which was interesting. Them speaking about the use of it definitely implies that they used it, and that is I don't know, it's interesting that they used and sold it. Next concept song is Real Women. Real Women is a beautiful joint praising the women that hold men down and aren't, liars and manipulative, right? Aren't liars and manipulative. Next song is Candy. It's a song about the beauty of their slab and how magical it is, the beauty of their whip and like how magical it looks. And, it's the fact that they have this type of stuff going on where like they're heavy, where they're heavy on talking about their cars. I love it. I'm gonna keep it a buck because I feel that. I feel that a lot. Sometimes you just feel like your car just is important enough to talk about for a long time. And I can relate to that. I can keep it a buck. I didn't grow up in like super in a lot of car culture, but like I fuck with this Texas car culture for sure. Now, Shattered Dreams is another concept song. It's a somber song speaking about the doubts from family and others in regards to your dreams. And I address this in real life as a coach and as someone that mentors, people loosely. Like, don't let people get in the way of your dreams. If you got something you want to do, find a way to get that shit done. Fight and accomplish that shit. No matter who doubts you, even if it's family. Pimp C he was speaking in this about family doubting him, his own family. They were just like, nah, you can't do this. Like, and he's just speaking about it. He's like, nah, don't give up. Like, he didn't really shit on the people that doubted him or anything. He's just saying that they did. And like, he never gave up. And look what he accomplished in 2007. So now, now the God mentions are more common on this album. Maybe there are like 3 or 4 mentions on this album. And across the first 3 albums, it was like maybe like 1 or 2 total. So I think that's interesting. I guess as they got older, they got more into their religion, or just the concept of it. So yeah, I found that interesting. It was something to make note of. Another concept song is Living This Way. This is a similar vibes to How Long It Can Last, but it's more serious. Creator curiosities are mentioned as well. It was pretty intense. This is an intense listen. Think Hops and Illmind 7, if you know about that one. Those kind of vibes. So it was interesting. Now, another concept song is the International Players Anthem. This is a beautiful Black culture classic about being against being married due to the possibility of losing your heart and your items, and really just marriage not being worth the risk, So everybody, this is their most popular song. Everybody and their moms know this. This is a worldly hip hop classic song. It's fantastic song. Whenever you hear it, it just gives you good vibes and stuff. It's just really dope. Now, the hits on this are obviously that song, International Players Anthem, The Game Belongs to Me, Quit Hating on the South, How Long Can It Last, and Swishes and Doja. Content on this is pimping, black struggle, hustling, gun threats, smoking, drinking, drug use, codeine, cocaine, cars, car shows, car modifications, how hustling was back then compared to now, compared to 2007. Snitches, you gotta remember they started in 91, 2007 to 91, that's 16 years, right? Or 16, I think. Snitches, liars, prostitution, and women that hold men down. So it's a lot of content, but it was 28 songs, so of course it's a lot more content. Now, the production, this whole album is a vibe, slow and chill and just fantastic riding music. I think I can tell that like Pimp C, like he's made music mostly how it feels when you ride, how it feels when you ride to it in mind. Like lots of features that fit well, still dope samples as usual, a decent balance of pace, as well as some slow reflective songs to balance out the steady pace joints. My favorite beat on this is a song called "The Game Belong to Me." It's just a nice and smooth beat. It really gives me Show Enough, the Taylor vibes, the hoes in the club showing love, shaking that ass in the club. It gives me those kind of vibes. It's not quite as I like the Show Enough beat more, but this beat reminds me of that, so I fuck with it based on that. My favorite song ends up being "The Game Belongs to Me." It just feels so cool, and it just makes me feel super smooth. The game belongs to me. I was like, man, this is I was like, I fuck with this. Like it's a dope song. It's a dope joint. Now the rhymes and the flow. Bun B has stayed lyrically complex, which is always a treat for me. His pacing and multi-syllabic rhyming is fun for my brain and ears as always. Now, Pimp Chad, this is the first time where I have liked as many, if not more, verses from Pimp C than Bun B. His swagger and energy and flow is just probably one of the coolest in hip hop as a whole. The word bending, the aggression, and the storytelling is just very engaging. I'm keeping it a buck. Now, bar of the album is, and I need cocaine. Ooh, not cocaine. Let me not misquote. And I need codeine just to stay sane. I'm praying to you, but I don't know your real name. Now, this is Pimp C saying this. This bar has got to be one of the realest from Pimp C, considering the cause of his death. Now, a little drug lesson. Codeine and promethazine are drugs that are usually inside of cough medicine. And there's a really famous drug that a lot of people know of as, or I don't know about drug, as a drink known as lean. And it is usually Sprite or some sort of pop poured in with some sort of cough medicine that has either promethazine or codeine or both of them. And promethazine and codeine are a downer, and the pop is like an upper. So it does the cooling you down like effect, like it calms you down, but also it keeps you awake instead of makes you go to sleep, like how a lot of cough medicines would just do if you take them by themselves. But this hits super hard because he died because of Pimp C died because of complications with his sleep apnea on the Googles. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but it says that he died because of complication with sleep apnea and with complication with consuming too much codeine. I just want to make sure I'm right. Yeah, Pimp C was found dead. Remember, this album came out in 2007, right? He was found dead in his hotel room December 4th, 2007, with a coroner's report attributing his death to complications from his heavy consumption of lean and pre-existing sleep apnea. So maybe the lean affected the sleep apnea. I'm not sure. Lil Wayne has had strokes from this same lean. So it is clearly something that is not great, and it's just really sad that on a song on this, he says, and I need codeine just to stay sane. I'm praying to you, but I don't know your real name. And this is in, I think it's How Long It Can Last, or no, it's Living This Life, I believe. And like, it's just really sad, and it is hard for those who question who they pray to and those who are addicted to lean, sad times for sure. But moving on to UGK for Life. This is their last album, came out in 2009. So the last one came out 2009. Now this started with a dope intro of Pimp C just talking his shit, The concept song, Everybody Wanna Ball. Pimp is speaking on everybody wanting what they've been having and doing, and how Pimp C doesn't think that you should want everything that he has. You should want like some shit for yourself. You shouldn't want, what I got. So, and I understand that. Like, some people think that like the shiniest stuff and the rich stuff that they see is just what they want, and they haven't done enough searching in themselves to really figure out what they actually like. So I like that, the concept of that. So also, here we go again with Texas being ahead of time with words. So in 2009, they make a reference to capping before the word got socially popular. Capping is super popular now, or cap is super popular now, just, but we weren't using that shit in 2009. Like, it just got like worldly popular maybe within the last 5 years or so, 5, maybe 10. But like 2009 is so early. I'm just like, wow, that's interesting. Very interesting. But no, another concept song on this on the earlier album was Swishes and Doja, which is basically, having a swisher sweet and weed. And this one is a flip on that, is Swishers and Herb. So basically the same thing. But both of the songs are like a smooth and dope song to listen to. I just thought the flip on it is kind of comical. I fuck with that. Concept song, The Purse Come First. This is a dope flip with knowledge in the verses of money over everything, The next concept song is Used to Be, is a dope joint with lots of features about being a smart guy. It turns into being the money guy. I believe the chorus is, I used to be the smartest nigga, now I'm the get money nigga or something. Now I'm the ballin' nigga or something. I'm not. I can just look it up. Why am I doing that? Can I get lyrics? Yeah, let me see that. Yeah, I used to be this. Oh, it was smallest is what he was saying. See, there go the Texas draw. I couldn't understand. I used to be the smallest nigga. Now I'm the big ballin' nigga. Okay. There we go. Got the words wrong. So, that's on Used to Be. Now, another concept song, Steal Her Mind, is a song about prioritizing a woman's mind and then controlling the body and other actions for pimping. I was like, oh, okay. So that's interesting, Another concept song is The Game Been Good to Me. Wait, what? Didn't I say that was my favorite song in the last? I think I messed up. Hold on. The Game Belongs to Me came. Okay. So The Game Been Good to Me. Okay. That's where I messed up. I think I said The Game Been Good to Me earlier when I meant to say The Game Belongs to Me earlier. Gotcha. Similar titles, but concept song The Game Been Good to Me is speaking on the people that the game, or rather it's rap or drugs or other games, where the game went wrong and was up and then down, but the game has been good to UGK. This album definitely has the best interludes, intros, and outros. They stand out as heavier and more intentional. The hits are on this one are really just The Game Been Good to Me, not many other hits on this album. The content, pimping, sex, history, cars, car mods, the game hustling, drug use, drinking, drug selling, real life struggles, and R.I.P. Pimp C, of course. The production, slow, chill, and still very Texas as expected. Dope features and samples as usual. Pimp C passed December 2007. So this album has a bit of a somber feel, but the production does a good job of not pushing the vibe and the sadness while still acknowledging Pimp's passing. So it's honestly impressive because I know these people got hit really hard by this, Favorite beat is Used to Be. I'm a big fan of the implementation of the guitar, which is a bit different for UGK. They use a lot of bass, a lot of smooth sounds, but they just had like a guitar, like riffing, like kind of like solo-esque type of music in, like, I want to say in the middle of the chorus of this, or like after the chorus or something. It was a dope touch. I liked it. It was different for UGK in a good way. So my favorite song ends up being Purse Come First. This song is a surprising amount of info when the title could have made the song pretty basic, and I appreciate the info in it and how it's put together. It's a dope joint, for real. Now, the rhymes and flow, Bun is still a lyrical magician. His penmanship has grown basically every album, and it is the reason he is my favorite rapper from Texas. Before I even began going through the UGK studio albums, you know. Pimp, no. Bonk. My cat is trying to jump over here, and I'm trying to deny access. No, cannot jump over here. It is not a thing. Yeah, go on somewhere. But Pimp is still cool as fuck. You know, I think he is the coolest person on the mic from the South. I'm gonna keep it a buck. After this is their last album that I went through, and he has passed, right? Or he passed before this album was put out. The way he just flows on a beat and he makes a chorus and stays, you know, trill and direct and somewhat complex and knowledgeable is very unique in my opinion, you know? Now, the bar of the album for me is "Open your eyes. These niggas played you and they played me too. I pay taxes. Oh shit, I pay taxes. They let the bitches wage war against the evil axis. Pull up all the emails, memos, and the faxes so we can really see what all the facts is, you bastards." Now, this is Bun. These bars are alluding to things that some people would say are conspiracy-like, with the pull up all the emails, memos, and faxes. They let us wage war against the evil axis, this type of stuff. But Bun hasn't really spit bars like this often at all. Like, he doesn't really do stuff like this. I'll keep it a buck. So I'm more inclined to take interest in what he's saying in regards to this, because yeah, it's just really interesting. Because if he would have been somebody speaking about, I don't know, political conspiracy and, like, you know, some of the weird shit that America does, you know, if he would have been speaking about that a bit more, maybe it would have been something I would have been used to and I would have, like, really taken note of. But this is, I just find it really interesting that he brought it up, and it really makes me want to kind of research, you know, more about this stuff. But this was 2009, so this is almost 20 years ago, you know. But yeah, that is the bar of the album for me. Now, my conclusion is, you know, this was a long journey of country rap tunes. My favorite album ends up being Underground Kings. It is 20 plus tracks, and it's the first album after Pimp C was incarcerated. The hunger is felt, and it's a bunch of fire tunes. Dirty Money is my second favorite. Now, the dynamic, I began this believing that Bun was way better than Pimp at rapping, and maybe I was correct at the beginning of their first two albums. But as things went on, I appreciated their differences a lot more. I believe that Bun's lyrical ability was pushing Pimp to rhyme more complex, and I do still believe that. But what I didn't know is that Pimp was doing the production for the majority of the projects, writing the choruses for them and a verse usually. That means that Pimp was also pushing Bun, and they just had an amazing competitive and cohesive dynamic and friendship between them. At the end of this journey, I've begun to mega appreciate UGK and Pimp C specifically, you know, as a way more than I did prior. You know, as a Midwest millennial, all I'd known them for is, like, you know, all I known is, like, the International Players Anthem and Wood Wheel. You know, it's like the guy with the fur coat on. You know, it seemed cool and Pimp like. That was all I really had known, honestly. So, how ignorant I was, especially for me, to already appreciate Bun B so much from the 5 to 10 songs I have of him on a playlist of mine. You know, rest in peace to Pimp C. I believe now I see the vision of why so many in the South revere him, because he just was cool as fuck. He was honestly, I think, the coolest rapper, producer, hustler from the South ever, in my opinion. I just really think that. Like, I have more research of the South to do, but his impact is underrated. It is underrated by people that are not in the South. I'm not in the South. I've never lived in the South. I appreciate Southern music. My favorite rapper was T.I. For a while in high school, and like I still like T.I., but I'm not certain he's like my favorite rapper right now. But like, you know, and I liked a lot of other Southern artists, but I was just unaware how important he was. And when you go through these albums, you start getting clips of people that speak about them or clips of them speaking about things. And there were numerous clips that popped up on my algorithm of Pimp C he's giving out game, bro. He's giving out game. He telling you like, you know, don't be super fascinated by the jewelry. You can get the money, but like, don't like focus on the jewelry and the items, you know, like he's like giving out game. Like he's trying to help the generation after him, or really anybody that wants to listen to him. So it could be the generation before him too, if they're listening to him. But like, he just gives game. Like the UGK as a whole did, but like Pimp just gave game. So like it, you know, it is, I don't know, man. It's honestly impressive. It's honestly impressive. But keeping it trill, I feel for Bun heavy now. And I already did because I seen a couple of his interviews of him talking about Pimp after Pimp passed. Now I realize that he really lost a lifetime friend and partner, right? Because I don't know how long they were rapping together, but their first project came out in 91. If we just say that they met in 90 to make that, like that is 17 consistent years of a buddy, a friend, a hustler, a competitor to grind with and get better at something with, you know, somebody that made, you know, you make money with, you got tax information with, you know, families that you've been around. 17 years is a long time. It's a long time. And it was probably longer than that. So, but yeah, man, I can't relate or fully empathize with that. But I certainly do. I don't have anybody that I, you know, was that close to and lost for that long. I do certainly feel for him, and I hope he's well mentally, despite all of his success and all the family and shit he has around him. I still hope that he's all right, because that shit ain't easy. And grief, from my experience, grief is not something that goes away forever. It just comes in waves. Like, it'll just come back. All he has to do is see something or hear something. He could be riding down the street and somebody else could be bumping wood wheel loud as fuck, and like, you know, it could be Pimp's part, like. And like that can just hit him, you know, like, and like it's just it's crazy. But continue with the conclusion. UGK is underrated for sure, super underrated. But there's an asterisk on the underrated. I believe he's underrated by people that are not living in the South. I think that they've got hits and they got bangers for sure, but let's think about when they released, right? In 92, when they released, I said 91. I said 90. 91 was the first album. The first album was 92. In 92, when they released the West with Cube, Dre, and Snoop overshadowed. I would say that Snoop, Dre, and Cube in 92 were definitely bigger than what UGK was. And then in 94, with their second album, Tupac was going crazy. Nas Illmatic came out in 94, and Biggie as well. Ready to Die came out. That overshadowed them, I'm sure. And then we can go to 96, the next album, right? 96, the next album, Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt came out. That's one of Jay-Z's like best albums, I believe. And then Nas and Pac also had music going out in 96 as well that overshadowed UGK as well. And then we can go to 01. 01 is Missy Elliott, Ludacris, DMX, and the Blueprint from Jay-Z. All of that overshadows UGK as well. So I don't need to keep going. You understand the point. Like, if you were in the South, Outkast was getting major fame, but even they were inspired by UGK. So their name truly holds weight. The Underground Kings definitely have some mega dope country rap tunes. Go and check them out. You won't regret that shit in the slightest, I swear. Stay true.